In this video, it's an ASMR video for those of you who haven't been here before. I'm going to do a showcase ramble of the Spirit Animal Tarot, which you can see right here. I've had this deck since 2021, I believe. It's very special to me because I was looking for an animal deck, and I went to a Barnes & Noble, and I ran into this one, and I just really liked the artwork. I really like coyotes and wolves, and so that drew me to it as well. It's also very memorable to me because that was the summer before Omicron, I think. So it was when there was a real lull in COVID for the very first time. And so it was actually the first time I got to see a friend, and basically the only time I got to see a friend for a really long time. Since the pandemic had started, a year and a half, a little over a year and a half before. So anyway, it's sort of like I got it at a special time. I was hanging out with someone who's special to me. The deck spoke to me, and I wanted that one at the same time. And then I really liked the artwork, which is what we're going to get into today. So it's a deck that opens from the side. I kind of like these. They're pretty heavy duty. I'm not tapping for ASMR purposes. I want you to see how thick that is. There was, I think, an insert that kind of held the cards separate from the book, but I didn't like it, so I took it out, and it's gone the way of the dinosaurs. And so these are the backs. Like I said, I like wolves and coyotes and wild dogs, so that was very special to me. And then, as you can see, this is the guidebook, and it's in full color, and I love guidebooks in full color, and good meaty descriptions. And I believe there was another reason. I think I liked this deck because I believe at the time, let's see, I want to see if there's a Nautilus in here. I think there was, and that was important to me at the time. Let me see. Yes, there's a Nautilus, and I kept having these dreams with the like the big, and I was like, why? Like, I'm not like, I don't have any, affinity. I wasn't like watching, like wildlife documentaries or something. So I was kind of interested in finding, seeing what associations there are with it. So anyway, as we go through, I'll probably, if I find that card, I will find that card, but maybe when we get to that one, I'll read the entry for that, and then in addition, I'll try to do a 3-card pull if I don't go way over. She also has other spreads in here. There's one called the Bear Paws. There's one called the Honeybee Lovers, and then of course, the Celtic Cross. But it's really a great deck. I really like it. I haven't used her spreads before, but I just really like the deck. So let's go ahead, and I think I can zoom in on this a little bit. So we have the Keeper of the Light, the owl. Let's see if we can get in here better. And she does, like a lot of creators who do, they're sort of like, move this box. It doesn't think I want that. Like a lot of creators. She has sort of her own take. So like these, like the Keeper of the Light, And here, ruler of the open heart, are names for major arcana, and I don't know, you guys probably know better than me, like, this might be strength just because of that lion, but you know which part of the major arcana is based upon the Roman numerals. And then in terms of the suits, there's different names, so like you'll see here in a second. So rooster is a call to awakening. The wolf is the 9 of fossils, and so the fossils are the pentacles. The dog is the 10 of fossils, so each card gets its own animal, which I think is really neat. The raccoon is the seer of fossils, and so that's another thing. The court cards are given their own, and I can't remember again off the top of my head. There's like seer, seeker, nurture, and guardian. I think nurture is queen, guardian's king, seeker is knight, and seer is page. I'm not positive, and I don't want to interrupt the cards to check in the book. So it's the scorpion, the 5 of branches. The llama is the seeker of fossils. The pig is the nurturer of fossils. The other thing I like about this deck is, at least for me, Bears, Carnivals, it's actually probably one of my favorite mass market decks that I have. The Stork, the Ace of Feathers. It feels to me a lot like a indie deck in terms of the artwork, grosbeak, 3 of Feathers, and the guidebook and all that. Loon, 4 of Feathers. So I don't know what the background was in terms of, there are some decks that are indie before they become mass market. It's the Blue Jay, the 5 of Feathers. But either way, to me, it feels very personal. Pelican, Sea of Feathers. I know a lot of people don't like glossy cards. I don't really feel strongly one way or the other. So this is Peacock, the Illuminator. And this I know is the star because I recorded my 1-card pulls, which will start showing up soon with this deck. And I think I pulled Magpie, 7 of Feathers. I was like, a lot of people don't like the shiny Albatross, 8 of Feathers. I don't feel strongly one way or the other. And I feel like with this deck it works. I feel like even if you didn't like it in general, you might like it with this deck. The snake, the Ace of Branches, the camel, the Seeker of Branches, the leopard, the Nurturer of Branches, the tiger, the Guardian of Branches, the bison, Ace of Fossils, monkey, 2 of Fossils, crab, the 4 of Shells, and the shells are the water suit, jellyfish, the 5 of Shells, the falcon is the Seeker of Feathers, and the feathers are the air suit, so swords. The fox is the Seer of Branches. The raven is the Messenger of Magic. You can see its reflection is not a raven. The penguin, the Seer of Shells. The polar bear, the Seeker of Shells. It's a beautiful card. It looks like the Northern Lights. Sea turtle, the Nurturer of Shells. Shark, the Guardian of Shells. Heron, the 2 of Feathers. The hummingbird, 6 of Branches. The lizard, the 7 of Branches. Manatee, the 6 of shells. The sea lion, the 7 of shells. The octopus, the 8 of shells. The salmon, the 9 of shells. Hippo, the 10 of shells. Prairie dog, the 3 of fossils. Rat, the 4 of fossils. Crow, the 9 of feathers. Vulture, the 10 of feathers. Parrot, the seer of feathers. Donkey, the 5 of fossils. Cat is the knower of secrets. Cow is the earth mother. Ram is the earth father. Bull is the keeper of sacred tradition. Crocodile and butterfly, masters of discernment. The whale is the all-encompassing. I'm going to save the novels for last. That's what about. That way I can read that and then we can do the 3-card pull. Dolphin, the 2 of shells. Jaguar is the 8 of branches. The lynx is the 9 of branches. The scarab beetle is the 10 of branches. Deer is the 7 of fossils. Honeybee is the heart awakener. Beaver is the 8 of shells. Otter is the 3 of shells. Ibis is the nurture of feathers. Eagle is the guardian of feathers. Gorilla is the 6 of fossils. Elephant is the bearer of justice. The bat is the master of suspension. Moth is the omen of death. Swan is the angel of alchemy. Goat is the shadow god of liberation. Serpent is the quickener. I guess it's the tower. Rabbit, it's the moon dreamer. Salamander, the 2 of branches. Coyote, the trickster, as the fool. Horse as the spirit of freedom. Firefly as the 4 of branches. Toad as the 3 of branches. And spider as the sacred spinner. And then let's show the Nautilus. The Nautilus is the Ace of Shells. So I'm going to read that entry and then I will do a 3-card pull. So the Ace of Shells. And she has the book color coded for the entry. So for example, the Nautilus. So it corresponds to the Ace of Cups, which again, the Ace of Cups is one of my cards for, I don't know what that means, but I feel a particular affinity for the Ace of Cups. So it's interesting that that ended up being the Nautilus. So element is water. The theme is love, intuition, harmony, beauty, and balance. Then it says intimacy, inspiration, love, and contentment are yours. Just as Nautilus floats freely in the deep sea by artfully concealing itself, We often sense the energy of this card before we see it, a tingle of happiness, a swell of attraction, a knowing that something life-changing has arrived. By accepting the gift, we open and life's healing waters flow through our being. Nautilus offers buoyancy as well as depth, encouraging us to trust emotional awareness as we explore the ups and downs of relationship and the fluid connection between self and spirit. Fine-tune your ability to discern what feels right for you. Desires and passions naturally balance when we are at home within ourselves. With simplicity and elegance, Nautilus displays the beauty of sacred space. The curve and inner world chambers of its smooth shell, unchanged for millions of years, reveal perfect proportion, a natural spiral also seen in the symmetry of cyclones and galaxies. Receiving this card invites you to heed intuition, deepen compassion, and attune to spirit as you pursue heart-based meaning and purpose in life. Message: trust your feelings, open your heart, and know that you are home. So let me go ahead and shuffle the deck. I'm going to shuffle the deck, cut it 5 times, and then I'm going to choose from different parts of the deck. Still, because I know this deck, I think I had re-put it in order at one point, so it's still not really shuffled well. So I want to make sure to get a good extra cards. So let's see. 3, 4, and 5. Alright, so we have 1, 2, and 3. My camera's kind of, well, it's my phone, but like the stand I have is kind of wonky. I don't really know what's going on. I don't think I have it like tightened right or something. Oh, actually, I know what it is. I think the part that tightens actually fallen off. Okay, well, I'm not going to be able to fix that right now. So we're just going to go ahead and then I'll try to fix that for the next time. Alright, so let's see what we got. Oh, and again, you know, a 3-card spread can be a lot of different things, past, present, future, you know, all kinds of different things that you might use. So I encourage you to either pause it once you see the cards and reflect on your own reading. What I'm going to do is turn over the cards, try to see if I can't see some relationship between the 3 together, and then also read what each one has from the book. So we have Gorilla, it's the 6 of Apostles. We have Vulture, the 10 of Feathers. And we have Lynx, the 9 of Branches. So we have 6, 10, and 9. We have 2 mammals and a bird, and it looks like the bird, since it's a vulture, it's probably carrion, I guess, but a dead animal. And like in the gorilla, see a lot of like harmony and community. The vulture, I don't know, I feel like it could be deceiving, as whether it's sort of good or bad. Like we tend to think of death as bad, but you know, the birds need to be able to live and eat, and it looks like, you know, it's not just the one bird, there's 4 of them. So in one way that's community too, right? And then the lynx is on its own, but it looks like it might be hunting. So, you know, with these 2, there might be sort of a sense of hunting. I think lynx are typically solitary, so it's like the gorilla and the vulture are more likely to be found in a group. So I don't know. And then obviously we have the different suits. So Pentacles, Swords, and Wands. So I'm going to see what comes out in the reading from the book. So let's start with Gorilla for the fossils. And the 6 of fossils. Respect, responsibility, fair exchange, equality, and peace. Large and powerful, Gorilla has a kind heart, sensitive touch, and friendly disposition. Gorillas share food, habitat, and resources, caring for all in the tribe. An easygoing, intelligent, and natural healer who knows the value of strength or gentleness, Gorilla reminds us to act with compassion and show respect to others. 6 of Fossils highlights the harmony of exchange. Gorilla advises balance, to share freely, and take just what you need. Release judgments of pride or shame, learn to give and receive, and to know that they are their own rewards. Gorilla urges us to look deep and recognize the spirit in all life. By awakening true generosity, we allow soul-based exchanges that flow from love. In larger terms, this card asks if we are responsibly sharing our knowledge, talents, and resources, both personally and globally. When we take more than we need, we cause imbalance, diminish our connection to other beings, and disrupt peaceful living on Earth. How we value and handle sacred exchange determines the future of ourselves and our planet. And then it says, message, accept gladly and give freely. And then the vulture is the 10 of feathers. So it says, death, surrender, acceptance, expansion, liberation. Head extended, shoulders raised, eyes focused on carrion below, Vulture's unmistakable pose reminds us of death's inexorable approach. Depending on your perspective, this may invoke fear or acceptance of natural cycles. 10 of Feathers signifies the end as a beginning, a melding of dark and light, and an opportunity to expand awareness beyond fear. Intelligent, clever, and efficient, Vulture rides thermals to soar high and see far, encouraging us to rise above collective opinion and test larger views. If feeling powerless or stuck in stagnant emotions, shift your viewpoint. As a symbol of rebirth and transformation, Vulture teaches that change is inevitable. Efficient scavenger, resourceful Death Eater, Vulture cleans decay by giving the deceased new life. Sinister omen, or helpful ecologist, Vulture reminds us that appearances can deceive. Release judgments of good and bad to move beyond the ordinary. By recognizing the beauty and necessity of death, we may grasp the harmony of the larger whole, surrender to what is, and live joyously in freedom. Message: accept endings, welcome beginnings, trust the mystery of life. And then we have the 9 of branches, just the links, and protection, persistence, commitment, courage, and wisdom. Receiving this card often signals one last push to finish something big. Don't give up. Gather inner reserves and resources to press through setbacks. You have the resolve and energy to succeed, even if it may not seem like it now. Shy, wise, and keenly observant of personal boundaries, Lynx is the keeper of secrets, who slips into our dreams, cautioning us to pay attention, protect ourselves, and persevere. Lynx sees what others cannot, helping us to discern truth beyond surface lies and deception, including our own. Resist impulsive reactions when uncovering a confidence or mystery. Safeguarding secrets often involves sacred trust. 9 of Branches is a card of mature, advanced wisdom. It suggests you're stepping into a guardianship role with more responsibility. If others come to you for counsel, be attentive and respectful. Fine-tune your ability to know when to speak and when to listen. Lynx also reminds us not to take ourselves too seriously. A dose of fun and lighthearted play can work wonders in unburdening yourself or others. Message: perceive clearly and advise freely, but maintain healthy personal boundaries. So I want to look back over where did I get the other two at the same time. So we've got lynx, gorilla, and vulture. The ten of feathers. Okay. So if we're doing like, if I'm going to do like a past, present, future, so respect, responsibility, fair exchange, equality, and peace. Then death, surrender, acceptance, expansion, liberation. And then protection, persistence, commitment, courage, and wisdom. So, as you know, if you've watched my videos, there's been things going on for a while. And so, I never know when I'm reading tarot and oracles if I'm really just sort of rereading back to myself the sort of stories and decisions I've already made. But I also don't know that it matters. You know? Like, maybe that just gives me the confidence that I need. So I don't know. Because when I'm looking at this, I'm sort of seeing like that there's a story going on here, or a narrative, maybe story's not the right word, a story going on here for me that goes, kind of like if, like this is sort of the key card, this sort of death, rebirth kind of symbol, or not even rebirth, transformation. You know, like the dead animal is nourishing the vulture. So it's, to me, reading that card, that's not a negative card in this case to me. Again, I don't know like the regular tarot meanings will, right? But to me in that image, I see the carrion as food source, nourishment, rather than the death of the animal. Although clearly like that's all part of the same like cycle. But anyway, what I mean is like, I guess I see it as like, there's sadness, right? There's grief around the loss, and we should respect that loss, but know that that loss is sort of the fuel to transform into new life. So it is rebirth, but it's not like rebirth without pain, suffering, and death. I mean, it's like in order to, something has to be, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I guess like it's not just about like rebirth, it's about sacrifice and rebirth. So like that animal, you know, either died on its own and is now being eaten, or was killed by another animal, is now being eaten, right? So there's suffering, there's sacrifice in order for these other animals to be able to eat. So to me, it's the middle card, but it's also kind of central in the narrative that I see for myself. And what I see here, and is maybe like just me trying to get the courage for like what I sort of fear is next in my life, is definitely not in a place of peace, right? Like the past couple of years have been basically nightmare sauce, but it's almost like I have the option to like just sort of drop it and walk away. I mean, I can't walk away from what's happened to me because of what's happened. Like, there's consequences that have happened, like they're ongoing. But to walk away or find a peace in terms of like not still having to think about what brought me to this place. fortunately or unfortunately, and I think I have a choice in this, that I didn't think I would, but I might end up being more like the Lynx card in the future. In other words, it might not yet be time to lay down, if that makes sense. Like, as much as I'd like to have this nightmare like end, like it goes on and on, I might need the courage to keep pushing through to the next step and the energy, which I'm not sure I have, but that's also where I think with the personal boundaries that I don't have to cross that bridge yet, and I think when I cross that bridge it will be really weighing those two things. And I don't think there's a right or wrong. It's like, first of all, do you have the energy? Second of all, if you do have the energy, is it wise? And if it's wise, do you have the courage to do it? In the sort of worst case scenario that I think actually might be likely to happen, I am gonna have a crossroads where I need to think of, again, like, first of all, like, do I actually have the energy? Like, I have to have it, or that's, not possible, or whatever. But anyway, I think, again, if the worst case scenario happens, I think it is something where I'm going to need the courage. And I don't know that I thought that was something. I thought I was going to get my gorilla moment. That makes sense. Like, my peace, or if not peace, because again, there's, like, I don't go into details, but like the consequence of what has happened, definitely not bring peace. But at the moment, I'm at least removed out of the situation, even if the consequences of the situation are not removed. But that Lynx energy, I may have to set aside, like the gorilla energy. I may have to settle. Okay, that kind of makes sense in a way. Like, the gorilla energy might have to be sacrificed for the Lynx energy, and yeah, I think that may also be a good reminder to me. This may also be a reminder to me of trying to build up as much gorilla energy. If I think Lynx situation is likely to happen, then in order to have the energy to do it, I'm gonna need some serious gorilla energy. I'm gonna need to accrue as much of that energy as possible and then sacrifice it to transform into that Lynx energy. Yeah. Okay. This is helpful. I never think of myself as good at reading, and I don't think I probably am and wouldn't be for other people. But one thing I hope you guys get something out of these videos, but one thing that I get out of them is really being able to practice and think through these readings. Because when I do them by myself, it can be harder because I don't just sit there and talk to myself out loud like this. Whereas doing this right now is kind of like when I'm journaling. I'm not journaling to someone else. And like in making these videos, I'm just in a room by myself talking. Even though you guys might listen, might not. But anyway, so it's helpful to me. I'm glad I make these videos because they help me. Because it makes me actually breathe a little better, because I'm just gonna call it the Lynx situation versus the gorilla situation. Like I said, I really was thinking that, like, the links. I wasn't going there, you know what I mean? And some stuff has happened that has changed the probability of that. And so, in reading this, especially thinking of it at the end about sort of in my past, which is maybe my current present, right, is building up that peaceful energy, that harmonic energy, because I might have to discharge it all to transform and sort of kill it, right? To use it in the sort of links stage. Hopefully none of that will be necessary, but it's a good reminder. So I guess in the end, I'd say, when I first started rambling about saying I'm not sure if I just don't read into basically just writing the same narrative. I actually do think it's that and not that. It is a lot like journaling. You may go in writing, intending to write something, but as you write, it transforms into something else, and you learn things about yourself, about others, about the world that you didn't even think you knew or didn't know. And so I feel like this is the same. In my mind, this was going to be about the situation, because that situation's what's on my mind. And at first kind of reading just real sort of basic stuff into it, but then kind of in ruminating about it, coming back to actually almost an action out of it, with that idea of, again, I like things like the gorilla energy and the lynx energy, where, almost like in a video game, right? I'm like, okay, gotta build up as much HP as possible because it may need to discharge. And especially because I'm in a position right now where maybe I can't, again, focusing on things like friendship, focusing on things like trying to get better, focusing on things like developing, strength back, my energy back, my ability to focus back, all of those things, because they they'll be needed for other reasons. But they may be needed for reasons I really wish they didn't have to be sacrificed for. But like I said, again, I don't go into any details. I wish I could, in the sense that it would help explain what I'm talking about, but I'm glad I'm not, for a variety of reasons. But yeah, I'd really like to not have to be the links. But if that situation comes to pass, I don't know that I can't not. So, I'm going to focus on that gorilla energy, building that up, gather all those fossils. And I do love fossils. I've got some fossils. Maybe I'll take them out, put them in a little jar or something. But anyway, so that's the Spirit Animal Tarot. So let me go ahead and like I said, I hope you also got something, your own version out of this reading. As always, if you saw something that you would like to share about your own reading, your own experience, always would love to hear it. And it's always I kind of like to just at the beginning and the end, or sometimes one or the other, show the back and either the box, or in this case the booklet. And in this case, a lot of times the booklet cover is similar to the box cover. If you see these things in the background, they're little felt pumpkins. I have felt ghosts. I'm actually going to put the link to the artist who makes these, because I love her stuff so much. She should have people buy her stuff. She's on Etsy. Anyway, so again, I'll put all the links in the description to Spirit Animal Tarot, to the lady who makes, let me just put them out so you can see. These are some of the different things I have. So there's pumpkins and different acorns and things. So, oh, that's a little ghost. So anyway, you may see these sometimes in the background in some of my videos. But yeah, I hope you have a good morning, evening, afternoon. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you for stopping by. It's always hard to know how to end. I need to come up with some sort of catchphrase so I can end these things without being the most awkward I can be. I'll just end it with thank